Well, hi, Jeff Shore, author of Be Bold and Win the Sale. We've been talking about understanding buyer behavior and really trying to comprehend some of the psychology that goes behind both the decisions and just the various actions that a customer is going to show you in the sales presentation. And one of the things that I want to touch on today, if we're going to talk about buyer behavior, is the idea of emotionalism and the place of emotion in the sales process. Now, this is tricky for some salespeople because they would look at it and say, I'm sorry, I'm not selling an emotion-based product, and I'm not selling to an emotion-based customer. I would disagree with you. I think that there is room for emotion in every sales presentation, and I would also say that every human being is holistic. That is, that they are partly logical and partly emotional. There's never a situation where we can't bring emotion into it. It just means that the emotion is going to find different faces or different manifestations. Emotion will look different to different people. But I can guarantee you this: the higher the degree of emotional intensity, the easier it is for a customer to make a decision. When they have a strong positive emotion, it feels right. Why? Because of a phenomenon called cognitive fluency. Cognitive fluency speaks to the idea that the easier it is for me to get my head around something, the righter that decision seems to be. Easy equals right. That's the principle of cognitive fluency. Well, along those lines then, if my emotions are telling me that it feels right, that will actually have more bearing than if my logic is telling me that it feels right. This is actually the underpinning behind a lot of irrational behavior, because a customer is going to look at it and say, I'm making this decision over here, I'm driving forward with this decision over here based on my emotion, even though logic might have told me to do something completely different. Now, I'm not suggesting that we want to be manipulative with our customer. All I'm suggesting is that we want to engage the whole of the customer and then understand that ultimately the emotion will have a higher play than the logic. So even if you're in a business-to-business sales environment, let's suppose you're selling 10 copy machines to somebody who's got is responsible for the purchasing obligations for a big corporation. Well, we look and we go, that sounds like a technical decision. That sounds like a technical purchase. Where is there room for emotion? Well, for one thing, if that person is responsible for all the purchasing, then they've got a very, very powerful emotion in the form of risk aversion. Because what is the single greatest fear that they might have? You know what it is? Looking stupid. The single greatest fear that they're going to have is making a mistake, having to pay for it, in the sense that they're going to look bad in front of their peers or their managers. So if I can play on that emotion and recognize that the solution that I bring is not in the form of copiers, it's in the form of making you look really good. Well, how do I do that? It's making sure that I'm not only selling the product and giving that person a good argument, but I'm making sure that that argument is simple enough for that purchasing agent to take it back to his or her peers, so that he or she can look at it and say, now let me tell you why this is the right decision. That confidence will overcome the risk aversion. Now, that's just one of many examples, but I want to suggest to you that there's no such thing as the emotion-free sales process. And to the extent that we tap those emotions, we're going to be on the fast track in order to get the sale, the fast track to changing their world.